you know in 2020? You've just confirmed you were aware of this in 2020, of this conduct. Mm-hmm. My question is, why did you not lay a complaint? Because your answer is, I couldn't discipline him because there was no written complaint. But you're the city manager, he's superior. Why did you not lay a complaint?
Let me concede that I failed to discipline the chief of police and I failed to do an oversight on him as an HOD.
All right, thank you.
As I think in my statement, there's somewhere where I indicated that I did not peruse the document. The document immediately, the advocate was part of the meeting with IPIT. The document immediately was taken by him to go and review it.
When you say you did not peruse it thoroughly...
I perused the document after.
After what?
After the opinion and after the interview.
Advocate Behari's opinion?
Yeah, after the opinion.
Before you concluded that there was indeed no case?
After I concluded, after he gave me opinion.
No, the thorough perusal now
is post.
Is post you receiving the opinion.
Yes.
But before you come to a definitive view that there is no case here, not so?
Yes.
Now, that still takes us back to my question. Once now you have perused thoroughly, as you say, and you have this opinion, and when you peruse thoroughly, you see that there are serious allegations, one of which is about fraud. How do you then come to this conclusion? And as I see it quite easily, that there is no case here. Why don't you say to Behari, but this says these cars were registered in the municipality's name. Is that correct factually? Why don't you say that to Behari, or why don't you ask that of Behari?
Ask him that, is it factual?
Is it correct that indeed CAT-VIP's motor vehicles, that is, motor vehicles belonging to a private entity, were indeed registered as the Metro's vehicles? Why don't you ask Advocate Behari that? Because you can't, this is a factual allegation, you know. That is why I would not be engaging you if we were talking questions of law, which indeed you would have had to rely on him.
Fresh revelations have emerged regarding the controversial 3.5 million rand private jet trip to London undertaken by former Ekurhuleni city manager Morgan Mashazi in 2022, with an investigation by the Sunday Times reportedly identifying the company that ultimately financed the lavish excursion. The trip, which has attracted significant public scrutiny since Mashazi's appearance before the Mahlanga Commission of Inquiry late last year, is now under renewed examination after evidence allegedly showed that IT services company XET Solutions funded the chartered flight. Mashazi, who appeared before the commission, chaired by the retired Constitutional Court Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga in December, acknowledged taking the 3-day trip but did not disclose who had paid for it. Her testimony drew widespread criticism, with commissioners questioning what they viewed as an evasive, dismissive, and at times combative attitude towards serious allegations under investigation. According to documents reportedly obtained during the Sunday Times investigation, XET Solutions, a company that has secured multiple contracts from the city of Ekurhuleni, bankrolled the luxury trip. The flight was undertaken aboard a Dassault Falcon 900EX private jet and included Mashazi, her husband, Bonginkosi Raymond Mashazi, and another couple. The company allegedly funding the trip has benefited from at least 5 contracts awarded by the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality during Mashazi's tenure as municipal manager. The controversial charter has now attracted the attention of the Matlanga Commission. Onyx Aviation, the Lanseria-based charter operator that provided the aircraft, confirmed that it had been approached by the Commission. Kieran Moore of Onyx Aviation said, "We are under engagement with the Commission, and as a result, will have no further comment on any involved parties or details of the flight." At the center of the transaction is businessman Zin Nxumalo, a politically connected entrepreneur whose name has repeatedly surfaced during proceedings before the Matlanga Commission. Nxumalo is the founder and the chief executive of the ZIG Holdings, a youth investment company. He has previously served as an independent advisor to SA Taxi, one of South Africa's largest financiers of minibus taxis. Over the years, Nxumalo has built a reputation as an influential power broker with extensive connections across South Africa's transport, political and business sectors. Economic Freedom Fighters leader Julius Malema has publicly acknowledged knowing Nxumalo, while testimony before the Matlanga Commission has linked him to prominent taxi industry figures and individuals allegedly connected to law enforcement and organized crime networks. During hearings, evidence suggested Nxumalo had inserted himself into sensitive criminal investigations, maintained direct communication with the police, officers, and allegedly sought to influence law enforcement actions. His name also surfaced in testimony concerning controversial blogger Musa Khawula, with allegations that Nxumalo supported efforts aimed at facilitating Khawula's arrest. Documents reportedly reviewed by investigators paint a detailed picture of how the private jet trip was financed. Although ZIG Revenue Management paid Onyx Aviation directly to the charter, records allegedly indicate that the original source of the funds was AT Solutions. An invoice shows that Onyx Aviation billed ZIG Revenue Management 3.35 million rand on 20 July 2022 for the London charter. Bank statements reportedly revealed that one day earlier, on 19 July 2022, XET Solutions deposited 5.75 million rand into ZIG Revenue Management's account using the reference XET Solutions. 4 days later, Nxumalo's company transferred 1.5 million rand to Onyx Aviation with the payment reference London trip. A further 1.5 million rand payment followed on 26 July 2022, while the remaining 350,000 rand was settled on 1 August 2022. Flight records indicate that the Dassault Falcon 900EX departed Lanseria Airport on 28 July 2022, traveling to Farnborough Airport outside London via Accra, Ghana. The passengers returned to South Africa 3 days later on 31 July. Nxumalo has acknowledged chartering the aircraft, but insists the arrangement was made on behalf of businessman Ntokozo Xaba. According to the company registration records, Xaba became a director of XET Solutions in January 2026. Before stepping down a month later. However, the exact nature of his relationship with the company in 2022 remains unclear. Nxumalo explained and said, "I was asked by Mr. Ntokozo Xaba to assist in getting a better quote for a London flight. I managed to get a quote from my service provider and a company that I worked with and act as a broker for Onyx Aviation for 3.6 million rand and eventually 3.35 million rand for the Falcon EX in question." He further stated that in the end, my company charged XET Solutions 5.75 million rand, that inclusive, for the flight which they paid, and my company paid 3.35 million rand to Onyx. Nxumalo said he only became aware later that Mashazi and her husband had traveled on the aircraft. I said, "I cannot remember exactly when I learned that Mr. Xaba was not going on the flight anymore, but it was definitely after I was paid and after I had paid Onyx." He admitted that his company retained the difference between what XET Solutions paid and the amount paid to Onyx Aviation. Ekurhuleni municipal spokesperson Phakamile Mbengashe confirmed that XET Solutions remain a service provider to the metro. She said municipal officials are still gathering information relating to the declarations of interest, contracts awarded to the company, and the total value of payments made over the years. Procurement records reportedly show that XET Solutions secured at least 5 contracts from the municipality during the past 7 years. All were awarded while Mashasi served as municipal manager, and all but one preceded the London trip. Senior municipal executives have reportedly estimated that the company may have received more than 100 million rand from Ekurhuleni for services rendered. The company has also benefited from substantial contracts in KwaZulu-Natal. Public procurement records indicate that eThekwini municipality awarded XET Solutions at least 5 contracts worth a combined 170 million rand over the last 7 years. XET Solutions, previously known as One Connect Technologies SA, was established in 2014 and specializes in information technology services. The company has no official website, although its LinkedIn profile describes it as a leading business solutions provider focused on helping organizations accelerate digital transformation through innovative technologies. Nelisiwe Xaba, the company's sole director, denied any suggestion that the flight constituted a benefit or inducement to Mashasi, as XET Solutions maintains a strict corporate governance and ethics policy that expressly prohibits the provision of gratification, inducement, or any form of undue benefit to public officials. She added that the company is committed to conducting its business activities within the highest standards of integrity, transparency, and compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. According to Xaba, the company has occasionally chartered aircraft and arranged transportation for clients, business partners, and stakeholders attending conferences, project visits, and other business-related engagements. The revelations emerge against the backdrop of damning testimony had by the Madlanga Commission regarding governance failures with the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department. Evidence before the commission suggests that serious allegations involving corruption, fraud, and sexual misconduct within the EMPD were not adequately addressed during Mashasi's tenure. Under oath, Mashasi acknowledged failing to act on recommendations from the Independent Police Investigative Directorate, IPID, concerning senior officials. She was also unable to provide supporting evidence for several serious claims she had made. Throughout her testimony, Mashasi repeatedly responded with the phrases such as "I don't recall" and "no comment," prompting visible frustration from commissioners. Commission members openly questioned her credibility and commitment to accountability, describing aspects of her evidence as evasive and unhelpful. Her conduct before the commission further intensified public criticism, with observers noting what they perceived as a dismissive and confrontational approach to allegations involving public institutions. The disclosure that a company benefiting from municipal contracts may have funded a luxury international trip for a serving city manager is likely to intensify scrutiny of procurement processes and governance standards within local government. While no finding of wrongdoing has yet been made, the emerging financial trail raises significant questions about potential conflicts of interest, disclosure obligations, and the relationship between public officials and companies doing business with the state. As the Madlanga Commission continues its work, attention is expected to remain firmly fixed on the circumstances surrounding the London trip and whether further investigation will follow. For now, what began as an unanswered question about an extravagant private jet journey has evolved into a broader examination of power, influence, public accountability, and the intersection between municipal governance and private business interest. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.